Hello, fellow RV travelers and future fellow RV travelers. It's good to be back with you guys. I took a little bit of a break for the holidays, doing Thanksgiving and getting ready for Christmas. We just had a church Christmas party last night. So I was pleasantly surprised when I logged back in and saw that in just over a week, the last video about would it be a takings issue if the government stopped producing gas or diesel for your RV. Not what I thought was my best and most enjoyable video to watch, but nevertheless, that thing has over 1,300 views, which amazing, and I apparently have comments that I need to get back in and respond to, which I will do. So thank you to those who watched that video. I hope that you had the opportunity to go back and watch some of my other videos, which I thought were more informative and more pertinent to living the RV lifestyle. But nevertheless, that one by far has the most views now. So thank you very much. What I wanted to talk about today was alternative uses for your RV. Because let's face it, for a lot of RVers, people who own RVs, the RV sits on their driveway or sits in a storage lot for most of the year and doesn't get a lot of use, but still probably has monthly payments. So, how can you make use of your RV, especially if it's at your house, parked in your driveway or your side of your house or your backyard? Well, there's a lot of things that you can do. First, I would suggest that if you have an RV at your home, that you go ahead and get an electrical connection installed by an electrician at your house. We have a 30 amp installed in our garage, which I then run the cable out to our RVs underneath the garage door to provide 30 amp power, which this Class A is a 50 amp, but that's fine. We just put a power adapter on, which I've shown you before, and we can run off of 30 amps. So basically we can run everything except both air conditioners at the same time. And a lot of times, just to be safe, we'll turn off the air conditioner before turning on the microwave. So in cold weather, that's not an issue because we're not running the air conditioners. So during the cold months, like now, we have basically full use of the RV, even while it's parked in our driveway, because it's plugged into the 30 amp outlet. And of course we can run everything simultaneously in the Class C and the travel trailer because both of those are 30 amp. So I would suggest, if you have the resources available to you, that you find a certified electrician who can install either a 50 amp or 30 amp outlet at your home. And then you can plug your RV into that and use it for multiple things. It can be installed on the outside of your house, or it can be installed on the inside of your house. If I were doing it again, I would probably put the 30 amp connection on the outside of my house instead of having to run the cable underneath the garage door. But that being said, what can you do? Well, the first thing is you can use your RV, if it's at your home, as a backup living space, especially if you have an RV generator or a generator that you can plug into, whether it be a solar generator or a gas-powered generator. When you have severe winter weather and it knocks out the power grid, so you don't have power inside your house, you can just come outside and fire up the generator and stay warm and cozy inside your RV. I think I've told you guys before that when we lived in North Carolina, often they would have ice storms during the winter, and those ice storms would often cause power outages because, like, tree branches would get too weighted down with frozen ice, fall off, and interfere with the above ground electrical wiring. And so, one particular time, there was a prolonged electric outage, and we just went outside to our RV. And yeah, I know I told you the story because I had to chip off the ice that had frozen around the door frame to get into the RV. So I had to chip the ice off of the door so that we could get into the RV. And then we just fired up the generator, turned on the RV heater, and carried on with living life in a nice warm RV where we had a microwave and a stove and a refrigerator and a bed and a bathroom and hot water and all those wonderful things of modern day life, while our neighbors were sitting out in their cars with their cars running, trying to be comfortable in their car. And we invited neighbors in little rotations because that morning, while everybody else was freezing in their cars or cramped in their tiny little cars trying to stay warm, we just invited the neighbors over for a breakfast of bacon and eggs, I think is what we had. So we were living nice, and they were miserable in their cars. And of course, after that, that next spring, the neighbor right across the street from us bought themselves a Class A RV. I don't know that this particular ice storm was what drove them to buy an RV, but they did, and they kept it parked at their house. So a good thing to do is, if an emergency occurs like that, you can go out and use your RV as a place to live and stay warm and dry and be happy and, watch whatever TV or DVDs you have, play whatever board games or card games you have. It's just like a wonderful camping experience in your driveway. So we've done that, and it's worked well. But make sure you have your vehicle topped off with fuel so that you can run your generator for a while if need be. And make sure that, obviously, if you have an external generator, that you run it out where the exhaust vents outside, and that your RV, when you're running, that exhaust is venting out into the atmosphere, not back up into your RV. So that's really one huge benefit of having your RV stored at or near your house. You can just turn it on and use it. Now, another awesome thing that we do with our RVs, we have a lot of food in our freezers, especially during the holiday times when we host Thanksgiving dinners for folks in our local church and community, and when we host Christmas dinner parties at the church for our local church. Things like turkeys and ham, they need to be kept frozen until they're cooked. And we often have leftovers and other things that take up the refrigerator and the freezer inside the kitchen. So those are usually full. A lot of times they're mostly full with leftovers. And then we have a freezer out in the garage, but that fills up too because we buy a lot of things on sale, or we buy things, like at Walmart with not sponsored. We buy things at Walmart with those yellow sale tags because, say, the meat has to be sold by that day, and we'll buy these things when they're on sale and put them in the freezer in the garage. But after a few sales, the freezer in the garage gets full. So when Thanksgiving rolls around or the Christmas party rolls around, we don't have room in any of our freezers to put the 20 plus pound turkeys and the hams in the freezers. So we use the RV freezers. Now, this Class A has a residential size refrigerator freezer in it, so it's very large. We just recently had two 21-pound turkeys and two ham, I think they were shoulders, but two large hams stored in the freezer in the RV, this Class A, because there wasn't room to put them in any other freezer. So we use, and currently that refrigerator right over there is filled with leftover food from the church Christmas dinner and a couple slices of different pieces of pie. So it's one of the reasons we keep the RV plugged in, because it keeps the refrigerator and the freezer running, so we can use it at any time. So that's another benefit that you can have with your RV at or near your house. If you can plug it in for power, you can use it for storing additional items in the refrigerator or the freezer, or both, like we're using both. So that's another advantage. What else can you do? Well, we host a Taco Tuesday event almost every single Tuesday if we're here in town at the house, and we hold it inside the RV during the colder months or when it's raining. During the summer, we host it outside on the driveway, so it's sometimes hot, but it's nice out, and when it gets cold or windy or raining, we move into the Class A. Now, when we had the Class C with no slides and the travel trailer with no slides, it would get a little bit tight in there. Like, sometimes it was more than a little bit, it was a lot tight in there. But with the Class A now, we can push the slides out, bring in some extra chairs, bring in some folding TV trays, and we've had 10 to 12 people in here on any given Taco Tuesday night, and it starts to get a little bit crowded, but there's still plenty of room to move around. Our little dog, Cujo, a Yorkie, still has room to run and chase his ball even when everybody is in the RV. And when the grandkids want a quesadilla instead of a taco, right, what they mean is they want to melt the cheese and the meat onto the tortilla. Ta-da! We have a microwave right here. So they'll ask to make a quesadilla, and I'll just put it in the microwave and put it on for about 30 seconds and melt that cheese and then give it back to them. Then they'll eat their quesadilla instead of a taco. But all the ingredients for making a taco are there, so it's still Taco Tuesday. Talking about grandkids, we use this Class A for sleepovers. You know, we'll bring the grandkids in. The last one we did was on a Saturday night to Sunday, and then we took the grandkids to church and passed them back to their parents. But I think we'll mostly in the past we've done it on Friday nights to Saturdays, and then we'll go out into the yard and we'll shoot some archery, or we'll shoot some BB guns, or we'll fly some airplanes. A lot of activities, but fortunate for us, we have a spot where we park. The camp side of the RV, the passenger side of the RV, opens up into a grass and treed area. So it's kind of like being at a nice RV campground, but instead it's our front yard. And we can go shoot the archery and the BB guns on the side of the house, where we also during the summer will put out an inflatable pool and we can swim. So it's a regular old mini campground here at the house. But the grandkids like it. They come over, we'll eat hot dogs. I'll microwave the hot dogs to heat them up in the RV. We'll drink some soda or some juice. And then here at the kitchen table, we'll get out the travel games or the Uno cards. We'll play some games. And then when it's time to go to bed, they get into their bunk bed area, close the curtain, turn on their TVs and their phones, and just have a good old time in their own little space inside the RV. And they will usually stay up way too late, which I let them do because we don't have anything to do Saturday morning other than get up and eat breakfast and do something. So there's no time pressure there. So if they stay awake till 2 in the morning, that's fine. They can sleep in till 9 or 10 in the morning. So that's another thing that you can do with your RV, especially if you have grandchildren that live near you. You can use it for sleepovers at Papa's and Nana's house. So that works good too. What else can you do? Well, you can use it for studying. I am also in school. I finished law school 2 years ago and started a PhD program. So I can use this RV as a quiet place to come out and do my studies, do my readings, write my papers. Most of the research that I do is available online, so I can use the Wi-Fi connection. And if I don't have a Wi-Fi connection available, I can use the hotspot on my phone to connect to the internet. So I can download the journal articles that I need to read and reference. So it's an easy place to come out and have peace and quiet, which is why I come out here mostly to make these videos as well, because it's nice and quiet and I'm the only one here right now. So it works well. So you could use it for studying. You could also use it as a man cave, right? It's a perfectly good man cave. And you could use it as a she shed. So either way, just don't both of you be in here at the same time, and it can be a man cave when I'm in here and a she shed when my wife is in here. So it doubles. We get more use out of it. And what I'm trying to get at is think of ways that you can put your RV to use. Oh, it's also a good place to store Christmas presents and birthday gifts and other things that you don't want people digging through on a daily basis. You can store it out in your RV in one of the many storage places available in your RV. Again, especially if you have it right at your house or by your house. So I would suggest, if at all possible, that you keep your RV near your house. Oh, and another thing, in addition to having the gas in your fuel tank topped off so that you can run your generator, also make sure to keep your propane topped off. Like right before you winterize, go to the gas station, fill up your tank, go to wherever you get your propane filled, fill up your propane tank, and then come back and do your winterizing so that through the entire winter you have gas and propane ready for use in your RV if you need to use it. So try to figure out ways that you can use your RV during the off season or when you're not traveling. Like if you have kids and you have a full-time job and you can't afford to take weeks or months off at a time and drive around the States or Canada, why not just camp in your driveway, especially at night, like right now, because the shades are down so that, people can't see in while it's dark outside and light on the inside. It's just like camping at the RV park. There's no difference. I know I'm in my driveway, but none of you would know I was in my driveway unless I told you, because it's just like camping. So if you don't have time to pack up and make a great big weekend trip somewhere, or it's the winter, uh, just go out to your RV. If you can do it at your storage lot, go there and do it. Use the RV for a short little Friday night, Saturday camping experience with the kids. If you don't get out and camp a lot, it's another great way to test or practice using your RV. Like, we still use the bathroom, even though the RV is winterized, we can still use the bathroom in the RV. How do we do that? Well, we just keep water in the RV in jugs. Like, I have a 3-quart jug and I have some little 16-ounce soda bottles, and we keep water in it. And because we're plugged in, we have a small heater running inside the RV, so it stays between 50 and 60 degrees in this RV, even with the slides out when it's below freezing outside. So the water doesn't freeze, but if somebody has to pee, we just pour some water into the toilet, pee, and then without turning on the water pump, we just flush the toilet, which basically opens the release valve and the water falls into the holding tank. Now, the water, if it froze in the holding tank, would probably not be an issue because there's very little in the holding tank, but this Class A is equipped with heating pads around the holding tanks. So again, because we're plugged in and have that 30 amp power running all the time, I just turn on the heating tanks. So that keeps the liquid in the tanks from freezing. So again, even though we are winterized, we can still use the RV. Like the grandkids and I, we can brush our teeth in the bathroom because we just use the bottled water for our water and use the bottled water to rinse when we're done brushing. So it can still be done, and it's sort of like the camping experience, but we're surrounded by a wonderful RV. So, you could run a business out of your RV as well, depending on what your business was. I'm not thinking of any right off the top of my head, but if you could run your business out of your RV, you could also claim portions of your RV on your income taxes as a business expense. So, I don't know how much that would be. I'm not an accountant. If I were an accountant, I would know. But if you have an accountant, or you pay your own taxes and can look that information up yourself, you could deduct the portion of your RV that you use for your business work as a deduction, and then your RV would be helping you pay less money in income taxes, or perhaps get a larger refund if you are paying and it drops you below the amount you owe level. So I don't know. Like I said, I am, like last week, I'm not an attorney. This week I am also not an accountant. So talk to your tax and legal advisor and figure out what you could do to make your what you could do to make your RV tax deductible if you use it as a home office. Again, it's nice and quiet. I could easily meet people here in the RV and conduct business. So I don't think there's a limit really on, well, I mean, obviously you're not going to open a semi-diesel truck repair shop inside your RV, but within commonly understood bounds of business, you could run a lot of businesses out of your RV And again, have your accountant or you figure out how to write that off on your taxes. So anyways, I hate seeing RVs that just sit in storage areas, and they just sit and sit and sit, and they never get used. And there's some that you can see, like, the grass is growing up through the tire wells. They've been there so long. It just seems like a waste. If you're not going to use your RV or have it available to use in, say, the case of a weather emergency, why even have the RV? Sell it. Capture a little bit of cash back from it. Or you could rent it, right? Put it on, not sponsored, outdoorsy.com, or put it on RV Share, not sponsored, or put it on the Good Sam rental site, not sponsored. All right. Just for reference, I'm not sponsored by anyone for anything at any time. But, put the RV to use. If you don't have the time to use it, rent it to folks who do have the time to use it. Capture that income. Obviously, put it in your taxes, but get the depreciation for the rental RV that you use after consulting with your tax advisor. All right, well, again, thank you for watching the last video I did on the takings issue. Again, I didn't think that was the most fun video I had ever made, but it's certainly super outperformed any other video I've made so far. So thank you for watching, and if you find this video or the other videos that I've made informative and or entertaining, please like and subscribe. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Both are free, they cost you nothing, and they help the channel grow. So you could also share with your friends if somebody's in the RVing community or thinking about being in the RV community. All of these are designed to help not just RV newbies, but people who've been RVing for a while and might not have thought about some of the other options available to them. So again, thank you for tuning in. I hope this video does as well or better than the last video. It would be amazing to see 2,000 views in a week. That would be awesome. All right, we will see you RV travelers and future RV travelers out and about in the rest areas and the campgrounds and the Walmart parking lots. Still not sponsored. And we'll see you guys later.